I'm sure that Dusty Baker is a nice guy, and to be honest with you, I would say that he's a pretty well-respected manager, but now that he is the manager of the Astros, he's sort of trying to, fix what already happened, and it's not making him look all that great, so we're going to talk about that in just a second. What's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. If this is your first time on the channel, we do this every single day, so if you want to stay up to date on the game of baseball, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we're on the road to 300K before the end of May. Happy May 4th. I'm rocking out with the Padres Stormtrooper hat. This was the last baseball game I ever went to before the world kind of imploded, so I am itching to go back to more games. But anyways, we have a lot to talk about today. Minor League Baseball is back, so if you're going to any games, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off. Mets have fired their hitting coaches, Chili Davis as well as Tom Slater, and the biggest reason why is they're not really hitting for power. They're dead last in run score. Now, I know that's because they've only played 23 games. That's about 3 less than the second to last team. In terms of slugging percentage, they're the 5th worst team in all of Major League Baseball. That is not going to cut it. I don't know what happened to Francisco Lindor, but he went from being average in Cleveland in 2020 to being one of the worst hitters in baseball to start 2021. Honestly, I feel like this came from the tippy top of the Mets franchise, so I don't know if it was more or less because of the results, or maybe because Chili Davis is known for not being an advocate of the launch angle. He's kind of old school, and I don't think that's going to work, and Francisco Lindor being bad, in my opinion, had nothing to do with these firings. Now, speaking of the Mets, they did put up a few runs yesterday. They scored 5 against the Cardinals, but it was not enough. Kevin Pillar, he stayed hot with a 2-run home run, and Nolan Arenado ties it up with a 3-run tater. So he is now up to 5 home runs, 21 RBIs, and a 128 OPS plus. He has had a pretty good season, not fantastic, but pretty good. Alex Reyes comes in after the Cardinals reclaim the lead, and he shuts it down. He's now up to 8 saves on the season. In 14 innings, he's given up 0 runs. So you have to put him in the same conversation as Aroldis Chapman, James Karinchak, Emmanuel Clase, Kendall Graveman, as some of the best relief pitchers in all of baseball to begin the season. So put some respect on Reyes' name. So before we talk about some injury updates to Dustin May as well as Luis Robert, I was more optimistic yesterday, and that kind of bit me in the butt because both of them are going to be out for quite some time. But first and foremost, Dusty Baker, why are you saying anything? You weren't even involved in 2017. Just worry about the 2021 Astros and go from there. So Dusty Baker came out and said that he doesn't understand why baseball fans are still booing. First and foremost, okay, we didn't get to boo in 2020 because we weren't allowed in the stadium, so allow us this opportunity, please. And then he also went on to say that only 5 players are left from that 2017 World Series squad. I don't know, let's go ahead and count them. Justin Verlander, I don't know if he necessarily counts because he was a pitcher, so he didn't get to participate in the cheating, but he was a captain of the team. Then we have Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa, and Yuli Gurriel. If I throw up this picture right here, you can see the majority of them. That was the core of that squad. Unless Dusty Baker is saying that Marwin Gonzalez and Dallas Keuchel were the heart and soul of that 2017 Astros team, maybe George Springer, okay, you would have a point. But let the fans boo. I expect every single Yankees fan to need cough drops tomorrow because they are going to boo and boo and boo until their little lungs give out. I can promise you that's exactly what's going to happen. But maybe they're playing into the hands of the Astros because, in my opinion, the Astros play their best baseball when they are the villains. When they're getting booed, they play just as well as any team I've ever seen. Moving on over to some injury updates. I am so sad to bring up Dustin May. I knew that injury did not look good, but I wasn't sure if it was going to require surgery or not, and it turns out that he will have to undergo Tommy John. He is going to be out for the remainder of the year. The Dodgers have been decimated by injuries as of late, and that's kind of why you have such a deep team. Even though you have been ravaged by injuries, you're still going to be able to stay afloat. I don't expect them to be a 120-win team anymore. A lot of people were saying they might win 126. No, that was never going to happen. So Dustin May, prayers up to him, as well as Luis Robert, that's exactly how you say it, but again, for the sake of these videos, everyone calls him Luis Robert. He is going to be out for the next 12 to 16 weeks with a tear, a grade 3 tear in his hip flexor, the worst injury that you can suffer to that hip flexor, so he is going to be out for the foreseeable future. Hopefully this does not affect his speed going forward, because that is probably his biggest, advantage as a baseball player, is the fact that he can cover ground, he can steal bases and turn doubles into triples. man, if his athleticism suffers, I'm going to be upset as a baseball fan. All right, so we got all of the drama and the injury updates out the way. Let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the games. Michael Brosseau starts a 4-run inning for the Reyes as they beat the Angels 7-3. Willie Adames hit a 450-foot ding-dong. Now, Glasnow was not his best, I will admit. He had 4 walks and gave up 3 runs. Also, one of them to Shohei Ohtani, who has been unstoppable. 9 home runs already on the season. Anthony Rendon, unfortunately, leaves the game after fouling a ball off his knee. And then Manuel Margot with his 3rd home run of the year. That's how the Rays put up 7 runs. So good for them. They've been kind of roller coaster as of late, so hopefully they can maybe rack up a few W's going forward. The Padres blanked the Pirates yesterday, even though Pirates starting pitcher Tyler Anderson was throwing a no-hitter into the 7th inning. San Diego pitcher, he was an opener, Miguel Diaz. He had a horrible start to his career. I think a 7 ERA in his first few years. He went 3 innings, only allowed 1 hit, and had 3 strikeouts as the opener. Again, Tyler Anderson was locked in until the 7th. That's all she wrote. The Padres put up 2 runs, and that bullpen is devastating. You are not going to come back very often against Drew Pomeranz and Emilio Pagan and Mark Melancon. I mean, if I was a hitter, that might be the bullpen I would not want to face. That as well as the Yankees. And also Cleveland. Because who wants to face Emmanuel Clase with the 102-mile-an-hour cutter? The Phillies just barely got past the Brewers yesterday. I didn't even know that Christian Yelich was back, but he is finally healthy and in that lineup, and I will say he looked very good. Lorenzo Cain homered, and then JT Realmuto answers back with a ball that has still not landed, a second decker. Roman Quinn with a triple. This dude absolutely flies. And then starting pitcher Vince Velasquez, he drove in 2, or maybe it was just 1, I don't exactly remember. And then on the pitching side of things, he was excellent. 6 innings, only 1 earned run, and Hector Neris was massive. He almost pitches 2 innings of relief, did not allow a single earned run, and struck out 3 different Brewers, so good for the Phillies, back in the win column. A lot of close games yesterday, including this one, the Twins versus the Rangers. I'm not going to bring up the final score just yet. Josh Donaldson doubles in Luis Reyes, and Kenta Maeda, he was in full-blown hydroplane. If you have never driven in the rain, but let's say that you have, you know that sometimes if you're driving in the rain that your car just starts to drift and you can't control it. Well, Kenta Maeda was hydroplaning because all of a sudden he goes from being a Cy Young caliber pitcher to being one of the worst pitchers to start in the American League in 2021. He was able to correct yesterday, 5 1/3, only 2 hits, did not allow a single earned run. Alex Kirilloff, the rookie, he stays hot in a 3-run 6th for the Twins. You have Polanco with a double to save them because Joey Gallo hit a 2-run shot in the 9th, and the Rangers almost stormed back to make it, but the Twins, they win 6-5. They might be the best bad team in baseball. Their record sits at 11-16. I mean, dang, I didn't know that they were that bad. So we've brought up Cleveland today, so let's go ahead and see if they won yesterday because they were playing the first place Royals. Franmil Reyes is having a breakout season. He drives in 2 RBIs. Ed Rosario with a 3-run home run, and then Josh Naylor with his first home run of the season. It only took 84 at-bats in 24 games. Good for him. Emmanuel Clase, he comes in and shuts it down. He's up to 6 saves with a 0 ERA. Cleveland is on a 2-winning streak, and the Royals, they have to bounce back before all the haters come out and say, see, we told you that the Royals were going to be bad. I expect them to win today.
1-2. Book it. Clase closes the door on Kansas City.
And then the final 2 games from yesterday, the A's beat the Jays 5-4, and yet another close game. Jed Lowry and Steven Piscotty, they make it 3-0 early in that ball game. And Ramon Laureano, I still can't believe that a lot of people are sleeping on him as one of the more underrated players in baseball. He gets it done defensively and offensively as he hits a bomb in his 3rd consecutive game. Steven Matz, unfortunately, is falling back down to earth and fast, so he surrenders 5 earned runs, and then Jake Diekman comes in and dominates the 9th inning for the A's 2nd win in a row. And then Dean Kramer, a UNLV product. If you guys did not know, I went to UNLV for college. He went 6 innings, only allowed 2 hits. The Mariners kind of kept pace with Dean Kramer, and they were able to hold it down until Cedric Mullins went off. He reminds me of a young Ketel Marte, where he's not very known, but he has a pretty good season. Then he builds off that to have a star season, and I see that happening right now because he leads baseball with 38 hits. He has 5 home runs and a near 950 OPS, and then Freddie Galvis comes in with the home run of his own. Mitch Haniger, I do want to note, he's up to 8 home runs, 23 RBIs, and an 871 OPS. Of course, that was not enough as the Orioles win 5-3. But Mitch Haniger, I'm so happy for him as a baseball fan because he missed 2020 and I believe a little bit of 2019 due to injury. So the fact that he's back, he's healthy and raking, great for baseball. All right, everyone, well, that does it for today's MLB recap. Let me know what you think of the Mets firing their hitting instructors as well as Dusty Baker saying, hey, this should be done with. Fans should stop booing. It's over and out. It's not, though. Dustin May and Luis Robert, they're going to miss quite some time. Stay safe out there and enjoy this day in MLB history.
1-0 pitch. There's a flare out to right field, and there it is. Hit number 3,000 for Albert Pujols. The fourth player in Major League Baseball history with at least 600 home runs and 3,000 hits.